Okay, so this is probably going to be the last video that I specifically dedicate to this. My previous videos will remain online. I will still allow myself to answer to any type of question related to the matter in the most honest and free way possible, knowing that as long as I'm telling the truth, the only type of repercussion that I can fear of is losing the sympathy of people who do not feel comfortable around the truth that I'm sharing, and I am personally okay with that. I am personally way more comfortable and able to embody a sense of personal progression in knowing that I gave myself permission to listen to my pain to the fullest of its extent, that I have given a voice to it, that I have had the courage to name it publicly, and to state my intentions clearly, to be upfront about how and under which conditions I am going to shape my way forward. Now, these also mean that I will continue integrating this terrible narrative in my own narrative and in my own future as I please. I firmly do not believe that any of the people involved have the capacity to prove their innocence to the fullest, and that therefore they do not have the actual capacity to complain about the way I choose to talk about the harm that was done to me. This was done to me. I don't give a fuck about any kind of personal interdeal you might have with each other. I do not care who is collaborating with whom. I do not care who is trying to protect who. I know very well what I am talking about. I know very well what I had to heal myself from, and I know very well what is the vastity of the loss that I have to face on a daily basis. And unfortunately, it isn't something that I can choose to shape in a pill size that can be easily swallowed by anyone who isn't me. This is a poison that I already took the time to swallow, that I already took the time to let it destroy me from the inside out. I already let the information grow roots within me, as painful as it was. The only reason why I am able to have a lucid and clear-minded approach towards it is this very basic human capacity that we all share, and is the capacity of being able to adapt to pain. And once you adapt to pain, you also become able to name it. You also become able to sit down and give a more or less lucid review of what's happening, which wasn't possible at the time because the pain was such that I would just crumble to the floor after little more than a few words in. It took me almost 7 years to be able to at least stand firm, at least keep my head high, and recognize the intensity of this pain as something that one has to be afraid of, because it doesn't matter. It didn't matter how smart I was. It didn't matter how well-intentioned I was. It didn't matter how willing I've been to be not only tolerating, because that is the basics to just deal with each other as humans, but also welcoming towards what for me was unfamiliar energy. I chose to blindly extend my love to those who were loved by the one I loved, and still do. I chose to do it as an act of respect. And I didn't even get enough respect for you people to choose to not walk all over a love that was never yours. None of you know what happened behind our scenes. None of you was supposed to know. None of you was supposed to be invited in there. That's kind of the definition of unhealthy love, when it has the possibility to grow without the need of bringing other people in. And despite having that, I chose to open the doors, to let people in, to tolerate, to make myself small and be patient, to share what I could have claimed. I could have been a brat. I could have been a brat. Any girl can. It's a capacity, you know. I could have started blowing up his phone and reclaiming that time. I chose to tolerate, having to listen to each and every person bumping into these bitches' asses, and then having to listen, not even to the first-hand information, but because of how much was being poured in, and it had to come out, and I was there I know it all. As if I gave a fuck, by the way. As if my focus could have ever possibly knowing about your dirty businesses. I didn't care. I was there just waiting for us to be able to have a fucking good time. Which apparently was an offense. No, come back. Listen to our bullshit more. And more. And more. And more. And more do I have to continue. I was there. You all know it. Daily. Daily. Perhaps not all day long. Sometimes it wasn't necessary. But a daily check-in. That was my job. And I did it. And I still chose to be respectful. And I still got walked all over. How is that supposed to work? Once again, none of you was there. And all of a sudden, just as a miracle, all of you seems to know everything about what was happening in there. Everything, everyone seems to be competing to see which one can have a worse opinion over that one cute example of love you simply cannot tolerate to admit that it existed. I don't know if it's because your own lives are so fucking miserable or because you just don't know the first thing about respect. It is not owed to you. I can be rude as fuck as well. And I have reasons to. I have reasons that are going to last for decades. And despite that, I still choose to hold myself back at least enough to not disrespect the dead. You don't even have that type of decency. And you want to judge me? You want to judge me? You are all quick as fuck at drawing your own conclusions. I took my own goddamn time with every one of you motherfuckers. I gave you all the benefit of the doubt. And now you're all in the same fucking spot. And I could make 100,000 videos, but considering that it's been a decade, that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? I might have lied a little bit when I said we will compare results, because we already are. It's been a minute. And I've been patient. And I've been discreet. And I've been graceful. And I've been everything that you guys needed me to be. I chose to do the most, to make everybody's energy as welcome, feel as welcome as I could possibly be. I even opened the doors to my own house to some of you. Is that how you repay me? Is that the best, most honorable thing that you can think of? Is that what you think is what's gonna prove that you have the most knowledge about love, or that love? You don't. Mathematically speaking, it's impossible. So, respectfully, shut the fuck up. At least. At least. Taking the time to also help undo the fuckery would be even more suggested, even more warmly suggested. But at least shut the fuck up. See, here's the thing. This is how I know that none of you was chosen for this specific soul journey. That was intended for two. I said this already. I'm tired. I'm tired of reminding you of how low quality you are as humans. And I'm talking mostly to the youth right now because I'm done. I'm done. You know very well how you think. You know very well what you're willing to say and how much you're willing to be a bother in order to compete. And as I said, I could spend the next 10 years explaining to you people I'm gonna call you people from the past who were also involved in this tragedy, okay? So that you can easily identify yourselves. I was personally never truly intrigued in none of you. And in order for me to be understood in this statement is to explain how my brain works sometimes. I do identify with some of the clinical descriptions. I was never truly diagnosed for this, but this way you can actually find literature that has been simplified enough already. So I do identify with some of the autistic spectrum characteristics, meaning that whenever I focus on something, very specific. Whenever I put my eyes on something, whenever I feel like I need to complete something, I kind of lose focus of everything else. Like everything that isn't, it's like when you have the horses and they cannot look. Okay, they might sense that there is something, but it's not, if it's not really in front of me, I don't really care. And I don't even say it from a place of ego. Like, truly, I kind of wish I could relate to more people, and I kind of never could. And I was also kind of okay with it. I was okay with seeing people as shadows and not really feeling the need to become dense in anyone's life or let somebody else's life become dense in front of my eyes. I could have walked past all of you without even noticing your existence. I only know that you existed, that you exist still, because you were attached to the only person that stood out for me. I didn't even have reasons to be nice to you. I didn't even see you as fully humans until I chose to do so. And I chose it for love, for decency, for grace. For still honoring the value of what I was building. I never wanted anything from you. I came towards all of you with my hands like this. The problem was that we only met when everything crumbled. But once again, it's been almost a decade, and I haven't asked a single thing but decency, and I haven't been given that. Not even that. Can you imagine? Everybody was so stressed out and pressed to know what was happening. Everybody was ready to sit down and talk to the widow and know about the dirty stuff. And then I start talking about it. I start talking about how painful and torturous it is. To have lost the only person I ever truly gave a fuck about. And I'm the bad guy. For not caring about how it makes you feel. You did not even exist into my life before I met him. None of you. And it's a fact. So, it is time to officially accept the fact that none of you is going to have a saying in how I deal with my pain. Thank you for watching, thank you for lurking, thank you for stalking, thank you for keeping up with me, and thank you for still checking if I was still alive. I am. Unfortunately, I am. It's the one possibility that one bitch in particular didn't take into consideration. Everything was going to be fine. Everything was going to be fine if I was just going to die. Like, honestly. But I'm still alive, so take it personally from here if you have to. I don't give a fuck. Stay blessed, by the way, all of you, and good luck.